Hey everyone, it's Andreas from Simplicity Farms. I'm trying to do a video today. If you can hear me past the wind, then it will be posted. Otherwise, it will have to be another day. I was out doing some intercropping seed sowing today. I actually put in some the Malabar spinach on some of my trellises. I'm debating today whether or not do I need to re-sow some of my Chinese noodle beans and my scarlet runner beans. So these are some of my Chinese noodle beans right here and my scarlet runner beans. They're just kind of stunty. They do have some pest pressure. I am doing some neem tonight with some organic horticulture spray as well. See, and then my potatoes are doing pretty good that are at the end of the bed. Then if you go over here, I have my tomato is now starting to just pop up there. I was really worried about this one, but we got some buds in there. Hopefully you guys can see those. And here's some more Chinese noodle beans that I wanted to have climb the trellis. I did notice some leaf miners, and I did do the pressure between the leaves, and it looks like it might have worked. It did kind of make some marking, but it didn't spread. These are the Anaheims that I was just talking about that I direct sowed. So they're popping up. We'll see what they do. If they don't do too much, then they don't do too much. But they're there, and we'll see what goes on. Here is my Rio Grande tomatillo. It had a lot of flowering. Then we got a windstorm. It kind of popped off a lot of the leaves and some of the stems. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with this one. These little peppers are starting to come back as well. They are something like, I think it said like a lunchbox snacking pepper. They had completely died off. So to see them budding now, especially this one's putting off a lot of buds. And it looks like we might have one started right there. So I'm excited about those. I never had them before. This was my purple tomatillo. This poor thing. This died completely, and I didn't have a chance to pull it, but it has really surprised me in the way it's coming back. So we'll see. This is a variegated leaf, but it kind of stopped variegating. I think it's because of the sun and the heat, but there's still a little bit right there. This is called a candy cane sweet pepper. So I'm excited about this. I've never had it before, so that's a good little experiment too. Last time I was unable to share what I have dubbed Experiment Alley with you. So this is a place that in our native soil, I went ahead and tilled it up. So the only thing I ever added to it was some peat moss. The gnats are out because the storm's blowing in. And I did do some Trifecta Plus from M.I. Gardener, just a little bit, because I wanted to experiment what was going to grow, what was going to sprout, and what could thrive in our native soil. And this is what I've gotten so far. Okay, so this Experiment Alley, I have like borage, artichoke that finally came up. I have a total of 27 different varieties of things in here, different squashes. I think whatever I planted here, the seeds either moved or they just didn't sprout, because some seeds moved. Like I did not plant squash all the way up there. So we have this squash, and this is a weed. Let's get that out of there. That's spaghetti squash. and we're starting to get a squash in there. I did leave a few things around the garden that had praying mantis cocoons on it. There's even flowers. There's some bell pepper I just was giving a try. Some more squashes, some beans, some kohlrabi. I'm experimenting with all, let's get that out there, 4 types of sorghum, and trying to get my nephew and kids some jack-o'-lanterns. This is my shishito pepper. It's loaded up with blooms and some peppers starting. So we're gonna see what goes on with this. I'm really happy with how this has started to bush out. This is one of my tomatoes that also lost its label, and I just put it in the ground just to see what would happen. It was really stunty for a long time, but now it's bushing out. I did do some pruning. We'll get it stabilized on something that it can grow against here shortly, but we do have some flowers coming in, so can't complain with that. This one is the one I'm super excited about, you guys. This is my Amish paste, the only one that I believe survived that I had started. It's loaded down with flowers right now. I just did a lot of pruning, but this stem was already so developed. I just decided to leave that. I'll just double or triple stem it because there was another one over here. Here's my rhubarb, guys. I've never grown it before. I just feel like it's struggling. So if you guys have any experience with rhubarb in my first year, please let me know. This was some cilantro that popped back up from last year. It has some pretty little flowers. It bolted almost immediately. So I just kind of let it go. So I'll give the bees some of the flowers, and I have a slow bolting cilantro that I'm going to intercrop sow here. I told you guys on my last, I believe that this was a chocolate stripe. I could be wrong because the tomatoes that are coming in look pretty oblong, like it's aroma type. So I might have another Amish paste, you guys. Who knows? I'm hoping, because it is just, this makes me happy. So we'll see what it is. Because it's oblong like that, I'm believing that this is another Amish paste tomato. So this one right here might be my chocolate stripe. It's getting really bushy and happy, and I have some flowers going on here. And so we're gonna see what happens over here. On the other side, I just direct sowed some red Malabar spinach from M.I. Gardener. Guys, the little stunty one in the corner is doing amazing. Look at these big old blossoms. I want to say that this for sure is an old German, but I don't know. There's my sugar snap peas. As you see, there's so many more ready to be picked, even though we harvested yesterday. This is my midnight snack tomato. Look at that. Oh, I cannot wait. This tomato's starting to come in well. And so is this one. Has blossoms everywhere. This one went crazy, and by the time I thinned it out, I still need to pull up this branch. There was just so many flowers on all the branches. I could not bring myself to cutting the extra limbs off, but based on the structure right here, there's a lot of gnats over here. I'm sure it's a cherry type of tomato, so just have to try to protect this tomato. See, oh, tie that up right there. This tomato has came back from the brink of death. and it's filling out. I'm not really seeing any flowers yet, but it's close. But I don't want this one, this cherry tomato, to choke it out. This is one of my only pear tomatoes that's trying to thrive, and this is why I just believe it's the area and the cherry pears. Look at my nasturtium, guys. It's bushing out. I have flowers coming in. If you've never grown nasturtium or you know what it is, it's a completely, oh look. Garden friends. Oops, okay. Well, it's a completely edible plant, leaves and blossoms. It has a very spicy taste. It's good on sandwiches. It's good in salads, but it's great for pollinators and it looks gorgeous. You remember my green bells that I experimentally put here? They are bringing new leaf growth in. Still not doing a lot, but I'm still willing to give them some time. Everything has taken its time and is now finally starting to take off, so I'm willing to give them a try. Here's my Roma tomato. We got tomatoes on the vine, loaded down with flowers. I pruned it from the bottom just to give it some airflow, give it less chances of blight. So we're good to go with these. I do need some more Roma types for canning though. And if we move around over here, sorry butterfly, this is my sweet banana. Oh, we got a little friend there too. Oh, you guys can't see it. There's a ladybug in there. So I'm checking leaves now for aphids. I'm not seeing any. So that's good. But we have flowers all over, peppers starting. It's really bushing out. It was really just a stalk last time we walked the garden, so that's always good. My dragon breath beans coming up. They're starting to come alive. And look, this is why I need to thin these tomatoes. I wasn't really thinking. I have Kajari melons and Eden's gems. Cantaloupe. I think I've had blister beetles over here because there's little ink mark looking things on the leaf. But as you can see, we're starting to grow. I'm going to train them up. I know those are close, but because it took so long for the melons to come up, I'm going to just try to prune them and wrap them up the trellis and see what we come up with. Here's some more tomatoes. This one is a black crim that had all but died. It's coming back. It's starting to flower. But this pear tomato isn't looking like it really wants to come back. It looks like it kind of fried. And I'm okay with that. I'll see what it does in the next week or two and I'll pull it. This is another one that I'm not quite sure what it is. I skipped over this one somehow for pruning, but it is getting some flowers on it. It's really doing good, so we'll leave it and see what happens. This one makes me a little sad. This is my black cherry. I've been nursing and nursing it. I just don't know if it's gonna come back. My strawberry bed that has grown so much this year. We got a lot of berries off of it and I'm happy with it. One of my sugar snap peas, that the only lone survivor on this trellis that lived. My Paris Island romaine is coming along really well. I have purple broccoli and cauliflower right here. I'm not optimistic on this bed, but I'm letting it go because I can still harvest the leaves. I have some more kale and stuff. The pollinators are everywhere in here. So I've just kind of been letting it go. I don't know if you can see all that activity. Maybe if I get down on the level. I do have those cabbage looper moths. There's a lot of activity going on in here. Even there are some wasps, but what can you do? The kale is exploding. We will be doing some, oh look, we got a pesky beetle. So, all right, well, took care of that. But the kale's went crazy. We're gonna harvest that today, and I'm gonna blanch it and freeze it in 1 cup things. But I got some of my flowers blooming. There's been so many. Oh wow. I don't know if you guys can see that either. On the side of the flower, I hate spiders. That spider has a fly. Nature at its finest. I've never seen a spider just hold a fly like that. My elderberries are coming along. You remember last time when I said my raspberries were just bushing out but not getting tall? Look at that. They are coming in thick over here. I'm happy with this. Then if you come down here, my little volunteer strawberries I want to dig up and put in the bed. These still have not gotten any wider, but it is starting to bush up and get a little taller. My hydrangeas, all the bigger leaves are dying back, but that new growth from when I pruned it back is becoming apparent. I'm gonna do some more heavy pruning and see what I can do with this. My other elderberry is doing phenomenal. Look at the grate, guys. Need to put something in. It's growing tendrils. It's ready. It's ready to start taking off. I'm happy. 2 rows that I had planted with coral bells. But you see one right there, one right there, and one right here. These are the only ones that sprouted. I'm pretty sure that's the only ones that are gonna sprout. Then that rogue pepper, I'm not quite sure what it is. The basil, another view of the zucchini line. But look, guys, these are the sweet peppers that looked like they were just gonna die. They're coming back. I'm pinching these off little by little as these new big healthy leaves and buds are coming in. They might still be short, but they are definitely bushing out. Look at this one. So I'm optimistic. Some potatoes down there. Here's one side of the cucumber trellis and the marigolds. Oh, some more of these mammoth sunflowers. This little tomato. Then on the other side, these cucumbers are taking off now. And these marigolds. Another mammoth sunflower. I don't know if you guys know how happy this makes me. But look at these hot peppers. These have done a lot better since the last video. They're getting bushy. Filling in, coming back. Look at this lemon habanero. It's loaded with flowers. Peppers starting. I'm excited. These are hiding some of the peppers, and I keep trying to move them. I'm gonna harvest some cabbage leaves today, but if you look, some of them are still doing pretty good. Then you have this cayenne hiding out. So I'm gonna clear this out because these are some Anaheims. So some of these leaves need to be cleaned out because I thought the cabbage would be gone by the time the peppers were coming. One of my cabbage and broccoli beds. We're heading up pretty good now in there. I could harvest that, but I want a little bit bigger head. I'm gonna cook the broccoli tonight. It got away from me, starting to bolt, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the stir fry. I was trying to wait it out while these got a little bit bigger, but it looks like they just need to go ahead, get harvested. Look at how this amaranth has taken off. Oh my goodness. Look at this color. Oh, I'm in love with this plant if you guys have not noticed. So I might need some help, guys. I got a ground cherry and I was super excited about it. I got 1 and 2. As you see, that second one without warning just died off. This one was extremely bushy. It's had a lot of leaves die back. I checked it for like pest pressure. Yes, there was some, and I've fed it and everything. It's just, I feel like it's dying. I feel like the one ground cherry I was waiting on, it's just, here, we're gonna go ahead and pull it because it looked like it was about to come off. But as you can see, it's real tiny. It's nowhere near ripe, but it's been this size for the longest time. So I'm not sure. So if any of you guys have grown ground cherries and have some suggestions, please let me know. I actually just tasted it and it was actually kind of sweet. So I really want to taste this in all of its glory. A lot of these tomatoes here, not labeled as well. I'm just believing that pear cherry tomatoes just don't like Colorado or this area. Got some more right there. This is starting to grow. This stalk I was super impressed with. So we had a windstorm. This stalk broke in half right there, right under the soil. I mounded some soil on it and splinted up like this. It never even died back. I'm gonna come prune it on it some more, but I did take some clones off of this because any tomato that can withstand that kind of abuse here, I need in my garden. This one's growing up. This one was stunted for so long, that's why it's not tied towards that trellis, but it's getting close to needing it. I got my artichoke right here. It did flower, but there was no other flowers. I mean, not artichoke, I'm sorry, eggplant. It did flower. It was a big, beautiful purple flower. But nothing else has flowered of my other eggplants, so pretty sure it didn't pollinate it. This is my artichoke though, right here. This is my tarragon. It is going crazy. It is just amazing. These are little jalapeno plants. They are flowering. They're just so little. So I want to see what they do. My zucchini is starting to produce. I have this little one up here. Got that bigger one down there. You have a couple more. Here's the rest of my patch. I have a little tiny yellow one coming in. This is my other in-ground. Some weeding needs to be done. There's pie pumpkins and corn. Some watermelon over there. Some bush beans. I only have one surviving loofah gourd. This needs to be weeded really bad. Some experiment tomatoes in between. We are now getting flowers and they are growing. Some pole beans. There's more corn on this row that has not sprouted, with watermelon that is starting to sprout, and some okra. Oh, I'm starting to see it. So it needs to be watered again. We're just drying out so quickly, but until everything kind of sprouted up, I was waiting to put down the mulch. So what my daughter really wanted was her sunflower garden. I got her 14 different varieties, all different heights. I prepared the bed for her. I did space the rows and I let her plant it. So we are waiting for sprouts and excited to see how this little experiment goes. I know it will be beautiful if it comes out the way that we plan. Thank you again for joining me on week 2 of our garden walkthrough. This is the tour and things that are going on in my garden. With the changes of weather, it's getting warmer, and we're barreling into the season. There's tons of growth. If you haven't seen last week's video of the garden walkthrough, go and check it out and compare it to what you're seeing today. We are making huge progress, and here is my hope of growing almost all, if not all, of our produce for this year and get enough canned. Until next time, thank you for joining. He says goodbye, and I say goodbye. See you later. Cows eating hay, garden, lots of growth.